Hello everyone, this is Diane. I decided it's time for me to get back into working in glue books. I really love doing it. I took time off from doing just a regular glue book like this. I had made one for myself and I don't remember if I started working in it, but I did sell it. I think I did do a couple of pages, so it was like a pre-started workbook or glue book, and I sold it, and I sold a lot of my magazine images along with it, thinking I could restock magazine images when I decided to go back into it. But now you can't get all the magazines that you used to be able to get. But I think I won't have a problem working in a glue book. So unfortunately, I worked in this for about an hour yesterday, and I made a video, but I am not able to upload the video. Something went wrong with it. So I'm going to show you what I did. I did 3 pages in here, and we'll work in it a little bit more just because I wanted to introduce you to my new one and, just get back into it as far as YouTube videos. And I did a lot of talking about glue booking while I worked, so I'll try to remember some of what I said and share some of that with you. So this is not a glue book that I made. I purchased this from an Etsy store called Hippie, the Hippie Gypsy, and I will link it below. Her shop or her channel, I will link below. And I just love this cover. I love the colors, the Renaissance look to it. And it's a good size, it's big. And she put this gorgeous charm on the side. There is a there is a high heel shoe and this little orb that has glitter in it. I love that. And a chair, beautiful. Butterflies. Oh, another chair. 2 chairs, cool. A teapot, a turtle. Just beautiful items on this. So that's fun. So I started off by just collaging flowers all over this title page. It says, it's not really a title page because it doesn't say Cinderella, but it says for all dreamers. And I love that for the beginning of a glue book. And I just pulled out my flower basket over here. I'm going to show you my baskets in a minute. And I just added flowers and a leaf and this pod. So that's a beautiful way to introduce the glue book. This house that she constructed was tucked into this pocket, and I really liked it, and it fits perfectly on there, so I glued that there. And I can write a little bit about where I got the book and the dates that I'm using it and whatever I want to write on this introductory page there. And then I did this page, which was really, really fun and quick. I did talk about Uppercase Magazine while I was working on this page because this is a page from an Uppercase magazine. You can Google that if you like. And I believe that they are in Canada, the magazine, and they have books too. So it's a really great place to find beautiful, vibrant images. Those books magazines are about graphic arts and that sort of thing. So you can imagine it would be a beautiful source, but they are expensive. And I had this girl I wanted to glue down here, and I found this giant stack of beautiful diamond rings. So I just cut a slit here and slid her down in there and glued it on all as one piece. And I had this phrase in one of my baskets, just like you. This is a bookmark that came with the glue book, and that's what these charms are attached to. So I can just move that right out of my way when I'm working in the journal. And then I found another image that I wanted to use, and instead of just working onto the next page, I'd found a page I wanted to add that to. So I moved it to this music page. This was the image I wanted to use. This is from a Somerset Studio magazine, and these pieces are also. I don't know if they came from the same article, but these were all on one illustration. I cut them apart, and then this was also probably in art journaling magazine by Somerset Studio. And because of her crown and her crown, I put them on the same page. And this added a little color. And I found this phrase to use. So you want to be creative. And I cut the words out individually and glued them to little red papers and glued it on. So I wanted to talk, this is one thing I did talk about yesterday. You can see I normally stagger my words however they fit and kind of try to make it look nice. But when I did this one, I realized that I was gluing them down in a straight row, in it like a column. And I thought, I wonder why I did that. I didn't even try to spread them out. And I realized I just was gluing and thinking to myself, and I thought, the rings are stacked, and these tiles are stacked in columns, and then she is in a straight row. She doesn't have her arms or legs out, and her hair isn't blowing. She's just straight. So I think that's why I just instinctively put it down in a straight column like that. If that helps you with your design choices. I tend to work instinctively. I don't spend a lot of time. Sometimes I do. I think you've seen me where I've spent a lot of time trying to arrange things the way I want them, but I'm pretty quick at making decisions and laying things down, and it's just, I lay things down the way I like it, and I work instinctively like that. So let me show you my baskets, let you see. If you haven't watched me do glue books, because it's been a while, this fell off of something. I like that. We're just jumping all over. I like that she has a lot of tabs and things hanging off, which I don't typically do on the glue books that I make. This was attached to something, a little paper clip in there, and this must have fallen off something, so I'll find a place to put them. But as I said, I got rid of a lot of my magazine images. I used to have this basket here as my bottom basket, which I still do, and then I had a lot of baskets similar to these that I stacked inside of this one, and they were divided up into categories, but I don't have those anymore. I can do it again. I probably have the baskets around somewhere. I can do that again because I want to get into glue booking again. So it does help to have my categories divided up at least a little bit. I had them for a long time, had them divided up pretty specifically, and it was kind of a pain to try to put things back, or when I cut up a new magazine to try to sort everything, because it just took so long to sort everything into piles. So then I started doing it more broadly, more broad categories. This basket is used to hold the full pages and fashion images. So I think what I did before, and I'll probably do again, was I took the fashion images and put them in some sort of an envelope like this and put them in the basket on top, so that it was easy for me to find the fashion images, the ladies. But I have some small pieces in here, so I really need to sort and organize it because I hadn't really done anything with it since I sold my the glue book I was going to use. So things are all mixed up in there, which is going to be fun for me to sort while I'm watching TV some night. I don't think I'll do it here with you. So this will hold the bigger pieces, like a full page, or even maybe big pieces like that I could put in there. And then I will have the smaller baskets. This one, I think, is all flowers. Yeah, there's a lot of roses. I had some rose books that I cut up. So that's all flowers. I'll leave that as it is. And this one is quotes. So what I need to do is get a few more baskets and get the smaller pieces out of here and sort them into... I like to have one basket that has circles and ovals. This will go in something else. This reminds me of the Pixar lamp. So yeah, I have sorting to do. And also stuck in this basket waiting for me to get back to it, I had this box in which I put my little collage books. These two are completed. They're full. This one is full, and this was made for me by my friend Jill. And I used it for Marguerite Miller challenges. It was a really fun book to use. It's made with a Lind chocolate bag, and it must have been white chocolate. Yeah, no, that's not it. But you can see this is part of the bag, and that opening there, and it's a Lind chocolate bag. And I guess I glued that face back there. It's just nothing that comes out. It's not a pocket, so I just glued that behind the window. So that was a really fun bag, or a really fun book to work on, because it's small and it didn't require a lot of time. And then I have index cards that I also used for Marguerite Miller challenges. She is a collage artist, if you're not familiar with her. I don't know if she still does the challenges on her channel. And some little greeting cards, playing cards, challenges, and little tags. Those were all Marguerite Miller challenges. I have this little goat in here. I think I'm going to use that in one of my journals or something, because my granddaughter likes goats. So I just wanted to put that in a journal and talk about her. So as I said, these are done. This book has been a popular one on my channel. I started this in 2017. And it is a format that I got from, her name is escaping me right now. Diane? Why would I forget that name? Pack or Die, she went by. I don't know if that's still her channel name, because she liked the Packers. Pack or Die, or Diane Fago. She is a collage artist, and she has had several times articles about her and her art in Art Journaling magazine. But she did this kind of a format in a small journal with the image of a lady and a background and then a quote. And then she used water dilutable black pencil and white paint pen. And that's about it. That's about all she did. And it's just, each page is so unique, even with just that very simple format. And I love it because it doesn't take a lot of time to do. And I love looking at it. So this one I completed. And I had bought these books in one set from Staples. They're Martha Stewart notebooks. And they're the same size as the field notebooks. And I wrote in here what the size is. It's 3 3/8 by 5 1/2. So I finished that one, and I waited quite a long time before I started working on this one. And it took me a long time to finish this because I didn't work on it steadily. The final page would have been in the center somewhere because I do a spread in the back, a front, and then a spread in the back, and then go back to the front. So I keep it even. So look how nice and even that is. If I had just worked from the front all the way to the back, it would have been very lopsided. So that's what I'm doing in this one too. And I haven't worked in it in a while, but I have quite a few done in the front and in the back. And I have a lot of pages in the middle to do. So I got back into this in 2021. And the last time I worked in it was in May of this year, 2025. But it had been a long time. This was January of 24, so I waited about a year, almost a year and a half without working in it. So I will get back into that. This little bag just keeps this and some of the images and quotes that I can use in that journal. So that's what I have for my journaling supplies. I did also talk about this mat in that video because it's a silicone mat that I got from Amazon. And I'm not sure that I like it because it's really hard to pick things up off it. Those little sequin stars don't want to budge. But I'm keeping it there for now. And these are just some collections of pieces that I have specific books I use them in. So just for today, I'm going to choose an image, and then what I talked about yesterday was that these pages that I just did, I did a complete page. I mean, I could add more to that if I wanted to. I don't think I want to add any more to that because I like it just the way it is. And I like that just the way it is. It's nice and simple. And I probably won't add any more to that. But I also talked about my first glue book where I just would glue one or two or three things onto a page and then glue some things on another page, etc. And then when I came back to it to do more another day, I would add to the pages I had already done. I just would lay stuff down. I wasn't trying to do a collage or tell a story like that one has words. I've been doing more quotes on my glue book pages when I was doing glue books. And I don't really need to do that. I just like to put down images there. It's really fun to just glue down images that you like and create interesting designs on your page. Let me get my first glue book and show you some of the pages I'm talking about. I didn't bring it over with me. This is a giant book. I made it way too big because I put 6 signatures in it. And the spine is 3 3/4 inches. And I put beads on the spine. I like the book, and it took me a very long time to complete it. I put this Tim Holtz doorknob thing on it and a hair tie, which is very stretched out. I think I need to put a new one on there. So let me see if I can find one of those pages I was talking about. So these are just, you know, random things glued down. And I did some stamping when I put the book together. I used stamps that I didn't use very often. I don't even have these house mouse ones anymore. But I covered up a lot of the stamps. The point wasn't to keep the stamps on the page, but just to kind of use the stamps while I was putting the book together. So this was a printed map on cardstock, and I used that as a page. And then this is an eagle from an old magazine, and the paper was fragile, so it is coming apart, kind of just breaking in the center. And then just random washi tape. And so I've added these things at different times. There's a little flap with a stamped piece of fabric and a poem by Edgar Allan Poe. There's a particular page that I think about when I think about starting with a few images and then adding, because it was a fun page and I added a lot of things to it over time. This is the page. So this is from a book about art, I believe, and so the background page was this text up here and this portrait. The portrait took up this much room, and all you can really see of it now is his head and, you know, a little bit of the background up there. So I had this piece from a magazine that was water, and it was cut into this shape, or it was printed in this shape. And it kind of, I saw that it fit around him, so I glued it down there. And I even cut out a couple of droplets and glued them on. And then another time, I don't know in what order these things happened, but I glued some arrows. And then I glued this image down and covered up more of the portrait. And then I ended up putting her on top of this one. And I just thought it was really fun to just build on it like that. And I want to do more of things like that. But I tend to want to have a idea or start gluing things down and then a story builds from it. And that's okay. If that's how it flows, that's how it's going to be. This was a gift bag with a Kate Greenaway picture on it, this man and the goose. And I just added a penguin staring at the goose because that's fun. And a couple little pieces. So in this case, I left more of the image. In many cases, I don't leave any of the image. So these are just things I liked. I liked this image of the hair that was knotted, different colors of hair, and I just thought it was a really cool image. And I put a background piece on there and glued that down, and that's pretty, and that's pretty. And altogether, it's just fabulous. So that's what I mean about just putting down things that you like. You like the image. National Geographic is a great magazine to get images from. And it doesn't tell a story, it's just images that I like. So this is quite different from the glue books that I've worked in recent years. But I really like it. It's so fun to look at. This is another example of one that was built up in time. This is from an old magazine, The Seascape. And at some point I added these crystals hanging down and this lady that has a cake skirt. And then these pieces of jewelry on top of her to kind of frame her. And this took time. It wasn't all done in one day. So I think that's enough talking about, oh, this goes inside. I made a little, if I didn't have enough pages here, I made a little booklet. And that took a while too to go through and glue on all of those pages, but that was fun. Tuck that in there and you can see her through the window. So let's see if we can do a little gluing today. And I will talk about, I know I've told it before, but about my beginnings with glue books and why it took me so long to get started on one and why I think it's worth it. I'm going to be looking for a fashion image like that one, I think. I mean, not like that one, but a fashion image. It'd be nice if it was already cut out. There's some that are cut out. So I had been watching a collage artist named oh my goodness. What was her name? She has blonde hair. Michelle? No, Green. Somebody Green. Shannon. Shannon Green. She's a collage artist, and I thought it was fascinating to look at her glue books. When I started watching her, she was working in multiple glue books, and she had one named Big Bertha. Now, I don't have to go on this page just because it's next, but I think I like the way she fills in that space there. So I think I will keep the flowers. I can still do collaging up here, but I can put her down here and then collage something over the text. Just want to make the bottom of her a little more straight. So Shannon Green, she had, I think, I haven't watched her in quite a long time, but I think that she had stopped making videos for a while, and then she started doing it again. I don't know if she still is, but you can still see her work on her channel, I believe. I think her channel is just Shannon Green. See if I can find it. But anyway, I was watching her videos and thought it looked like a lot of fun, but what was the point? And maybe that's what you're thinking. What is the point? I'm just gluing stuff. It seems so childish. Seems like things a kid would do. So I don't have time for that. That's what I was thinking. But then I kept watching it and thinking, maybe I should just give it a try. What would it hurt? So I usually use my glue stick for these things because I'm just keeping them. It's not like they're going to be traveling to another home and someone's going to write in it and things are going to fall out. If it starts to fall out, I can just glue it again. So I guess I decided to just give it a try, and I loved it. I realized that I could be creative in a very casual way and not thinking about it too hard. No pressure, because it's just for me. If I don't like the page, I can always glue over it, and I have done that. So that when I had that glue book we just looked at, there were pages I did not enjoy when I was turning the pages and looking at it. When I would get to a certain page, I'm like, I really don't like that page. And so I decided to just glue over it. So no pressure. And it's a way to be creative on those days when you don't really feel creative. You just open up your glue book and you start gluing images. And it's relaxing and very enjoyable, and you end up with pages that you can admire in the future. And I really do enjoy getting my glue books out. I don't do it that often, but I do enjoy getting them out and looking through the pages and remembering. Sometimes I don't remember anything about what was going on in my life when I did that page. Sometimes I do. I don't make notes about it. That's not the point. But sometimes it just brings things to mind. I'm just going to cut that. This is also from the Uppercase magazine. So the pages in those books have a lot of colorful borders, and you can cut out. And then they have these little labels on some of the pages. And I have a whole little collection of those labels that I cut out so I can just use the words where I want to, but I'll leave that one there. I might end up covering it. But again, Uppercase magazine. This I think goes well with the colors that are on the page. Oh, this is spring, this is fall, but that's okay. Just use that yellow one that looks springy. I'll just do a little collage down here. Here we have some spring ones. So I considered it worth it. I have done a lot of work in glue books, and I've made a lot of glue books, but I do have a question for you. How many of you are interested in glue books? In watching glue books being used, like you are right now? And or purchasing glue books, because I do like to make glue books. When I make them, sometimes they sell pretty good, and sometimes they take a while. Like the last batch I made, I think I made 5 glue books, and the last 2 stayed in my shop for a couple months, I think. So it just makes me wonder if people aren't interested in them as much. I'm just curious to know your thoughts about glue books, whether you like to watch them on videos or whether you like to work in them, or both. I'm looking in to see if there's a little something I can use right there, but that's something I can do another day. I don't know if I want to use this many blocks. This is where having my images divided up would be very helpful. that there. Okay, I like that. So sometime after I get home from vacation, I will spend time while I'm watching TV sorting out my basket of images. And maybe I'll come back another day to do some collaging up there. I'm going to glue these down and then move on to another page. I always find that after I have worked in a glue book, I like to, before I go to bed, I'll come back down like I did last night to look at what I had done, just those 3 pages that I did yesterday. I came back down here before I went to bed, just so I could look at those pages and say, yeah, they're pretty good. I like them. And I have been known to take my glue book to bed with me, because I like to read before I turn off my light, but instead of reading, I would just turn the pages of my glue book, a completed one or a partially completed one, and just look at the pages that were done. So I do get enjoyment from the completed books. This one has little cats peeking out of the flowers. So I did talk a bit about Uppercase yesterday, the Uppercase magazine. It is matte pages. They are not glossy, which is really nice. They have sturdy covers that are not glossy. I don't think, maybe they're slightly glossy on the front, but not on the inside. And they feature graphic art. I think that's the main intent of the magazine. And they feature different artists and lots of images, bright images. Very interesting. But it is an expensive magazine. You can get on their site and look for back issues. And they have books. Now, I have shown in other videos, I have shown some of the ones that I have from their Encyclopedia of Creativity series. So this would be interesting to glue down on a page like this and fill in spaces so it doesn't look weird. Like, I don't know what was here that I had to cut around that, but it looks pretty weird. But I could add images there that overlap her. So that would be a fun thing to do. I'm going to leave that page right there and just look for just a fun image that I don't really need to build around today. Just want to glue it down. Oh, look, here's what I did with the fashion images. Instead of having them in an envelope, I clipped them together like that. So I have lots of fashion images there. Like, I could glue this down. There's an eye back there, an eye and an eyebrow and half of a nose. It's very subtle. But I could glue that down and then build on that another day. So about Uppercase magazine, as I was saying, was I done talking about it? I don't know. But they have so many images, it would be really great. And I have quite a few actually, of the Encyclopedia of Creativity books. And they look so nice on the shelf in my living room, and I like to take them down and just look through them for inspiration. I won't cut those up. They are expensive. I don't remember how much, but I know that the first ones I bought, I don't remember, but you order them before they get published. They tell you what's coming, and you can order them, and they give you an approximate publishing date, and you pay for them, and that helps them be able to afford to publish them. I don't know why these are in here. So I'm not going to do any more to this page. And then when they are published, they send them to you. So it's a very nice surprise. I think I probably got emails that they were coming, but I don't check my emails like I should. So all of a sudden I've got these really cool books in the mail. Or you can just go order what they already have published, and you don't have to wait. They do it both ways. And I haven't looked lately to see what they might have that's new. I guess that was like that. So I could just start with that. Maybe put a little background up there. Look at that. How's that for a background? Looks like abstract, or it says abstract. Looks like alcohol ink. If you think about the money you spend on kits of ephemera, like purchased ephemera pieces in the bags, and scrapbook papers that you use in your journals, you think about what you spend on those things, and then think about buying one of these magazines and all of the images you would get out of it. That would be a good way to look at the value of one of these magazines to determine if it's worth it. And these kind of images are way different than what you would find in scrapbook paper, that's for sure. But I would just use them in your own personal work, not in things that you sell. If you have any questions about glue books or about my journey with glue books, feel free to ask. I did talk about, while I was gluing yesterday, I talked about some of the books that I have that I glue in, and some of you are familiar with them, I know, because you've been with me for a very long time, and some of you are newer. So I showed you the little blue book, I call it, with the ladies and the quotes. And I'm going to leave that page and come back to it and add more to it another day. So I have those little books that I showed you, and I also have a book like I created, like the junk journals that I make with 3 signatures, and it's a nice hardcover vintage book, and I have that for a scripture journal. And I can show, maybe I can show you the different types of journals, glue books that I have in another video. And I'll start working in them more again. I keep saying I'm going to. But, you know, I'm still trying to settle in to this room. And it's been crazy since I moved. And we have the holidays coming up. But I am really hoping that I will settle in and just be a little more leisurely with my crafting instead of always looking at a deadline for, like, I have to get these done for a certain holiday or a season, or before I go on a trip. And just be able to enjoy what I do and take time to do glue booking. I guess I can put that right here. It's just little jars of cosmos flowers. So some people like to do color-themed glue books, and I had started one. That's another one that I sold. I used a composition book, and I had it divided up into rainbow order colors, but I also included turquoise and pink and black and rainbow. And I think I had brown too. And that was really fun to do. But I sold that book. I had started working in it. I sold it, and I sold all of the color images that I had cut out and divided, sorted into the color categories. I sold all of that. And I hope whoever bought it, I can't remember who bought it, but I hope that they're using it and enjoying it. There's a beautiful bouquet right here. You know, I'm going to save that for when I have more backgrounds. I'm going to glue down some background things. Oh, she's right here. I think I'll just go ahead and glue her. And then things will overlap on top of her instead of behind her. That paper I've been gluing on is sticky. I don't want to lay her face down on the glue. I think this Oohoo stick is almost empty. This is not my typical glue that I use. I wanted to try it. And it's okay. I like it better now. When I first used it, it was really gooey. And I thought it made a mess. And it was dark blue. Of course, it dried clear. So now it's older and it's faded in color. And it's not quite as gooey. So I like it like this. I'll show you in just a second what my glue stick of choice is. Everybody has their preferences for glues. And people have questions about glues quite often. This is what I typically use. Elmer's Craft Bond Extra Strength. You can get it in this size or a pack with several of the small ones. And I keep both because sometimes you want a smaller one for a smaller piece. But this is what I use the most. That's gorgeous. How pretty does that look? I know I have shown my uppercase books, the encyclopedia books, maybe not in depth, and probably not all of them, but if anybody is interested in me going through them a little more slowly, I would love to do that. It would make a very fun video for me to do if you guys would be interested. I don't remember how many books I have, but I could split it up into a couple videos and show what they look like on the inside. I have one on quilting, feed sack fabric, notions, sewing notions, embroidery. Love that one. I love them all. I think printmaking, I think, is one. And many others. I just love them. Wish I could have them all. I'm going to tuck her in here. No, because that'll fold her. I'll just leave her there. And hopefully next time I work in this, I'll remember to cut her out and glue her right there because I love it. And look at the bright sneakers she's wearing. That's just really cute. I'm going to glue a couple more backgrounds down before I quit for the day. So in the fashion magazines, that it's hard to find them in the stores. I know that a lot of them don't print them anymore. You can subscribe to them online, but this is one of the things I loved about the fashion magazines, the jewelry pieces. I don't know which ones you can buy anymore. I used to like to buy In Style and Vogue sometimes, but Vogue, you know, some of them could be really weird. And I didn't like all the models. It just looked like they're mad all the time. I wanted interesting ones. Like this one's kind of cool. I like her, but they always have those serious faces. I have a lot of fashion magazine images though, so I think I'll be able to glue for a long time without running out. Cool, good to know. I'll just glue this down here. Next time I'll have fun adding to these pages that I'm gluing backgrounds to. I think what I'm going to do for while I'm gone, I think I'll put this over here, and I will eventually cover up the words on this side. I'm going to space my videos out even while I'm home for every other day, and I'm going to try to get a few extras made so that I can schedule them for every other day and see how far they go before they run out, before I come home. I don't know what time I'll be getting home on that day, and I don't really plan on getting right to making a video as soon as I get home. I think Disney World's going to wear me out in a fun way. I want to say thank you to everyone who purchased Christmas journals and the ephemera kits. Purchased them so quickly. I appreciate it so much because I really wanted to get them packed and shipped. I shipped them today, and today's Monday, and I put things in the shop between journals and the leftover kits Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and everything sold really fast. I priced the ephemera or the leftover kits really low because I just wanted them to go. So I really appreciate you guys. Maybe I want a different color there. This is reminiscent of the artist from the probably 30s. I forgot his name, but you see how her dress just blends into the background? It's the same. It's like this is just placed on top. There was an artist, Coles Phillips, I think was his name. He did advertisements and posters and stuff with that kind of art. So I'm sure that this person was inspired by him. I'll come back to that another time. Looks like it's about time for me to go. Let me do one more. I was looking for something not quite so bright, but I have a lot of brights. I like this. It's yarn, and they've got these little balls of yarn hanging on strings. I'm just going to glue that down and see what happens with it next time I come through. So while I am gluing this, let me just say thank you for coming with me today, and tell me what you think about the glue book issue. Do you want me to do videos while I work in glue books? And do you want me to keep making glue books to sell? Those are my questions for you today. But thank you for joining me today, and I will be back with another video. Look for it day after tomorrow, I hope. Whatever it's going to be, I hope I have one for you. I'll see you then. Have a creative day. Bye.